Now, one story I wanted to share with you is about one of my favourite musicians, and I just love his music, and we've mentioned it recently here on the show before. And when you think about all the hits that this particular man has had, you do come away thinking, wow, what a terrific back catalogue. And I've been lucky in my career to record, be produced by, and work with some incredible composers. I remember spending some time with Burt Bacharach on one of his very last visits to London, and I said to him, where does your inspiration come from for all those wonderful songs? And he said, you know what, Neil, some days I just wake up and the whole song is in my head. Now, I have that. Do you have that? But it's never my song. It's always somebody else's great song. You see what I mean? That is pure talent. This is pure talent. The man that is, of course, Mr. Neil Sedaka. And I wanted to share this particular story with you. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome, one and all new subscribers. I hope you're waving. Absolutely. It's still a grim day here. But nonetheless, I hope that we will cheer you up with this particular story. Now, we all have a favourite Neil Sedaka song. It can be anything from Solitaire to Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, Love Will Keep Us Together, right from things like Oh Carol, Calendar Girl, brilliant songs. Met Neil a number of occasions. I think he's ripe for one of those fabulous jukebox musicals, don't you? We would love all those hits again, probably told in some sort of storyboard form, but just simple because the songs stand up for themselves. But he pointed out on numerous occasions that he felt his career stopped when the Beatles invaded America. And he was right in a sense, because singing talented guys with a piano solo went out and groups were in. Groups like the Searchers, the Swinging Blue Jeans, the Dave Clark Five. It was dubbed, wasn't it, if you lived in America, the British Invasion. But, of course, talented people like Neil had to carry on. And carry on they did. They wrote songs for many other people. Now, what's interesting is Neil was phenomenally popular over here in the United Kingdom and appeared many times, as I mentioned, in that very famous club, the Batley Variety Club, alongside big theatres and Royal Varieties and stuff like that. However, in a very sort of dark period where he didn't have a record contract, the Svengali at the time, some people might say, was none other than this man, Sir Elton John. Now, Elton John at the time had a record label called the Rocket Record Company. And on top of that, he was also the manager of Watford Football Club. So he was very entrepreneurial in his early life. Now, according to Neil, and this is an interesting story, I think, because it just shows you about celebrity. You see, I've often thought it was a very strange collaboration. When Neil told me this, I thought this was very strange because they're both pianists, musicians, gifted musicians, good songwriters, and also good performers. So they almost could be rivals. It would be like having Barry Manilow and Neil Sedaka in a concert hall with great pianos battling it out, the sort of thing. Now, apparently they got on very well for a decent amount of time. And then for some explicable reason, which Neil didn't ever really find out, Elton John decided, and some people might think, to do the dirty on him. Now, Neil was supposed to be a headline in a concert with Elton, and suddenly at the 11th hour, without any virtual warning whatsoever, he was replaced, told no, he now wasn't going to be that. He could be on it, but it was further down the bill, and he was replaced by none other than the singer Kiki D. Now, one might suspect, of course, that he and Kiki having a big hit with Don't Go Breaking My Heart, they may have thought this was better box office. Either way, this caused a fraction in their friendship. And according to Neil, to this day, well, they're polite and nod, but they're never the best of friends. And it goes back to the fact about the celebrity fallouts and the cults and stuff like that. When you think about it, Elton John is very difficult. I've met him, I've interviewed him. You never know what mood swing you're going to get from him, truly. But also what I found very disturbing was the fact that he fell out with his own mother for many years. That's his prerogative. He didn't see her for many years. In fact, according to a press report, she had to invite in a Elton John tribute act to perform for her on her birthday. A stunt, but nonetheless, terrible, bad PR. So when you look at the situation that you have and you think, well, Elton John is a huge star. Neil Sedaka's a cuddly guy that doesn't, to me, from the times that I've met him, look like he would want to start any kind of fight. Even to this day, Neil said he was left bewildered by that particular fallout. And when you think about it, they're both now in their sort of older years. It's a shame, isn't it? Because two great talents with wonderful music that are going to give the lasting legacy. But then, as Neil pointed out, I have no idea why Elton John closed the piano lid on our friendship. Oh, interesting story, don't you think? Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.